In June 1967, specifically in Sinai, Egyptian soldier Osama Sadiq walked through the desert in his tattered clothes, worn-out shoes, and exhausted body, after Israeli aircraft had suddenly bombed the area. The front had collapsed overnight, and the world around him seemed to have vanished into smoke and dust. For 28 days, Osama wandered across these scorching sands, searching for water, food, and any sign of his comrades. He stumbled upon abandoned trucks riddled with bullet holes, scattered personal belongings, and the lifeless bodies half buried by the windswept sand. He witnessed fellow soldiers captured by Israeli forces, tied to armored vehicles and dragged along the ground until they died. The cries of despair echoed across the desert, mingling with the relentless roar of destined jets and the whistle of artillery shells. It was a human nightmare where fear, exhaustion, and uncertainty ruled, and yet amid the desolation, Osama held on to hope. For decades, the story repeated in the West was that Israel single-handedly defeated all the Arab armies in just 6 days. A tale of legendary victory for a small, peaceful nation that stood up to the aggression of the brutal state surrounding it and defended its right to exist. A fantastic story, isn't it? Of course, who wouldn't root for the underdog who single-handedly overcame overwhelming evil? But is that what really happened? Were the Arab states truly the embodiment of evil? And was the war really just between Israel and the Arab states? To understand what happened in the 6-day war, there are several key aspects to consider. In this video, we'll delve into these aspects to discover together what really happened. With the beginning of 1967, both the Egyptian and Jordanian armies were exhausted from the ongoing war in Yemen, which had been raging for about 5 years. The Egyptian president, Jamal Abdel Nasser, had sent 70,000 Egyptian soldiers to Yemen to support the Republicans in their revolution against the monarchy. Meanwhile, Jordan was fighting alongside the royalist forces against the Republican regime, with support from other countries like Saudi Arabia and Britain. Relations between Egypt, Syria, and Jordan were far from smooth. Tensions ran high due to Syria's separation from the United Arab Republic, which had been hailed by President Nasser, and Jordan's support for the royalists in Yemen. Mutual distrust and political friction made any attempt at joint military planning extremely difficult. On the battlefield, this lack of trust and coordination translated into confusion and inefficiency. Orders between the armies were often delayed or contradictory. Communication failures meant that soldiers like Osama Sadiq were left stranded, uncertain of where to go or which positions to hold. While Arab armies were struggling with exhaustion and political division, Israel was standing on the opposite side with something the Arab states simply didn't have: massive coordinated Western support. Several Western military historians know that France didn't just supply Israel with the advanced Mirage 3rd fighter jets, the most sophisticated aircraft in the region at the time, but that French military experts actively trained Israeli pilots on how to master them. They taught them high-speed maneuvers, precision strike tactics, and the kind of coordinated aerial strategy that Arab air forces, trained and poorly equipped, simply couldn't match. By 1967, Israeli pilots were flying machines they knew inside out, while many Arab pilots were flying older aircraft with limited spare parts and minimal real combat training. And France wasn't acting alone. While exact details of Western involvement remain unclear, historians agree that Israel benefited from a broader environment of international support. The strategic alignment of the United States and Britain with Israel created a political and diplomatic context that worked in its favor, giving Israeli leaders a level of confidence that Arab commanders often lacked. This wasn't a symmetrical confrontation. It wasn't merely one army versus another. It was a worn-out, divided Arab front, bleeding from years of conflict and political friction, facing an opponent equipped with cutting-edge technology, detailed intelligence, and the backing of major global powers. On the morning of June 1967, Arab states were caught completely off guard as Israeli air forces launched a sudden, devastating strike. Jets swept across airfields in Sinai, the West Bank, and Egypt, destroying the majority of Arab aircraft while they were still on the ground. Within hours, the Arab armies had lost almost all of their air power, a blow that could define the course of the conflict. For soldiers like Osama Sadiq, the consequences were immediate. Units became isolated, commanders unreachable, and thousands of soldiers found themselves stranded in the desert, disoriented or captured. Estimates suggest that tens of thousands of soldiers were killed or wounded, leaving armies exhausted and morale shattered. The human cost extended far beyond the battlefield. Between 280,000 and 450,000 Palestinians were uprooted from their homes in the West Bank and Gaza, as entire communities were displaced and families scattered. Strategically, the war reshaped the region. Israel captured the West Bank, Gaza Strip, Sinai Peninsula, and the Golan Heights, creating a new balance of power and leaving the Arab states grappling with both military defeat and occupation. The goal here is not to justify the defeat of 1967. This is a recounting of facts of what actually happened on the ground, why armies fell short, and how political, technological, and logistical factors shaped the outcome. The Arab army's defeat in 1967 showed the consequences of disunity, exhaustion, and lack of preparation, but it also became a foundation for future resilience. Just as the lessons of past defeats inspired the Arab states to plan, coordinate, and reclaim dignity in later conflicts, including the October 1973 war. Understanding what went wrong in 1967 provides the knowledge and perspective necessary to plan for success. By looking at the war from a different angle, we aren't rewriting history, we're uncovering it, learning from it, and using it to shape a stronger, better informed future. If you like this video and want to help us create more content like this, support us on Patreon. Your contribution allows us to dig deeper into history, share untold stories, and continue bringing these important narratives to light.